continuing. This was her almost to the day in 2008, telling reporters two times in 3 days, that delegates awarded based on vote totals in their state are not bound to abide by election results. It's an idea that has been floated by her or a campaign surrogate nearly a half dozen times.
Okay, so I want to talk about the election process a little bit, because there have been a number of stories coming out where Bernie Sanders is not included on the ballot. Of course, there were a number of stories in Arizona where people felt like, first of all, they ran out of ballots and voters were upset about that. So they want a re-election, a redo in Arizona, which is never going to happen, right? I want people to fight for it, but here's the reality: it's never going to happen. So these stories keep coming out, these injustices keep getting revealed, and so what do the American people do? Do they just sit back and take it, right? And look, we report on the stories, and I want something to happen, but I don't know how to get it done, and I'm being completely honest with you guys. It is an injustice.
So what I said earlier to John was that, this was up to the Bernie Sanders campaign. It's not like they're underfunded. They have lots of money now, and they have a ground game in Arizona, and they should have known that this stuff was happening. There was a breach of data poll voter registration a couple months ago. They didn't do anything about it. They knew that the polling places were cut down from 400 to 60. They didn't do anything. You have to do something before. You have to have a court injunction to open more polling places before the election, because after it happens, it's over. And as someone smarter than me said, voters don't decide who gets elected. It's the people who count the votes that decide who gets elected. And it's being proven in Arizona. And I watched that whole hearing they had yesterday in Arizona. It was this travesty. People got to vent, but nothing's going to happen. The Justice Department is kind of looking into it. Barack Obama isn't screaming about it. No one really gives a shit who has power.
So it's interesting because Bernie Sanders lost access to his own voter data because his camp contacted the DNC months ago and let them know that there was a security breach and that campaigns could access the voter data of one another's campaigns, right? And so there was this huge controversy. They cut off his access to his own voter data. People were accusing his camp of stealing voter data belonging to Hillary Clinton, which was not happening. That was the way that it was being reported by the media. It was this big issue, right? And the only reason why the DNC gave him access to his own voter data is because there was enough people infuriated by the whole situation that the DNC finally relented. What I don't understand is now we have instances of wrongdoing when it comes to this election process, and there's evidence of it, and there's no outrage, right? There's outrage among Bernie supporters, but that's it. No one else cares. Even if you're not a Bernie supporter, you should value the democratic process, and you should value the ability for people to cast their vote. And if you're not fighting along with Bernie supporters to protect that, well, then you don't really believe in democracy. You believe in rigged elections.